Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavala Girivaradari Gopi Janavala Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanajari Yamunatira Vanajari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Ram Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajagacharya Ashotara Shata Shishmad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajagacharya Ashotara Shata Shishmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadip Dham ki jai, Mathura Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Yamuna Mayi ki jai, Ganga Mayi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the Samo devotees. All glories to the Samo devotees. All glories to the Samo devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Padaya Vishnu Padaya Namo Swami Namo Krishna Vishnu Padaya Vishnu Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravan Vicharini Nirvishesha Nagari Pichata Dishita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 2, Chapter 2, Text number 31. Call and response from the word for word translation. Tena Atmana Atmanam Upaiti Shantam Anandam Anandamayaha Avasane Etam Gatim Bhagavatim Gataha Yaha Saha Vai Punaha Na Iha Vishaj Jate Anga Penatmanatmanamupaiti Shantam Anandam Anandamayo Vasane Etam Gatim Bhagavatim Gato Yaha Savai Punarneha Visajjate Nag Enatmanatmanamupaiti Shantam Anandam Anandamayo Vasane Etam Gatim Bhagavatim Gato Yaha Savai Punarneha Visajjatenga Enatmanatmanamupaiti Shantam Anandam Anandamayo Vasane Etam Gatim Bhagavatim Gato Yaha Savai Punarneha Visajjatenga
Enatmanatmanamupaiti Shantam Anandamayo Vasane
Anandamayo Vasane
Etam Gatim Bhagavatim Gato Yaha
Etam Gatim Bhagavatim Gato Yaha
Savai Punarneha Visajjatenga
Savai Punarneha Visajjatenga
Tenatmanatmanam apaiti santam
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Anandamanandamayo vasane.
Anandamayo vasane.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gato yaha.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gato yaha.
Savai punarneha vishajitega.
Savai punarneha visajjatenga.
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Anandamanandamayo vasane.
Anandamayo vasane.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoyam.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya.
Savai punarneha vishajyatenga.
Savai punarneha visajjatenga.
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Anandamayo vasane.
Anandamayo vasane.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatayo.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya.
Savai punarneha visajyatenga.
Savai punarneha visajjatenga.
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Anandamayo vasane.
Anandamayo vasane.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya.
Savai punarneha vishajyatenga.
Savai punarneha visajjatenga.
Tenatmanam atmanam upayati shantam.
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Anandamayo vasane.
Anandamayo vasane.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoyam.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya.
Savai punarneha vishajyatenga.
Savai punarneha visajjatenga.
Tenatmananamupayati shantam.
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Anandamanandamayo vishane.
Anandamayo vasane.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya.
Savai punarneha vishajyatenga.
Savai punarneha visajjatenga.
Tenman manam apaite
Yeah.
anandamanandamayo vasane.
Anandamayo vasane.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya.
Sava punarneha visajjatenga.
Savai punarneha visajjatenga.
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Tenatmanatmanamupayati shantam.
Anandamayo vasane.
Anandamayo vasane.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoyaha.
Etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya.
Savai punarneha visajjatenga.
Savai Punarneha Vishajjatenga. Any devotees online would like to chant? Tena, by that purified, Atmana, by the self, Atmanam, the super soul, Upaiti, attains, Shantam, rest, Anandam, satisfaction, Anandamayaha, naturally so being, Avasane, being freed from all material contamination, Etam, such, Gatim, destination, Bhagavatim, devotional, Gataha, attained by, Yaha, the person, Saha, he, by, certainly, Punaha, again, Na, never, Iha, in this material world, Vishajjate, becomes attracted, Anga, O Maharaj Parikshit. Translation. Only the purified soul can attain the perfection of associating with the personality of Godhead in complete bliss and satisfaction in his constitutional state. Whoever is able to renovate such devotional perfection is never again attracted by this material world, and he never returns. Purport. We should specially note in this verse the description of Gatim Bhagavatim. To become merged in the rays of the Parabrahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as desired by the Brahmavadi impersonalist, is not Bhagavatim, perfection. The Bhagavatas never accept merging into the impersonal rays of the Lord, but always aspire after personal association with the Supreme Lord in one of the Vaikuntha planets, spiritual planets in the spiritual sky. The whole of the spiritual sky, of which the total number of the material skies is only an insignificant part, is full of unlimited numbers of Vaikuntha planets. The destination of the devotee, the Bhagavata, is to enter into one of the Vaikuntha planets, in each of which the personality of Godhead, in his unlimited personal expansions, enjoys himself in the association of unlimited numbers of pure devotee associates. The conditioned souls in the material world, after gaining emancipation by devotional service, are promoted to these planets. But the number of ever liberated souls is far, far greater than the number of conditioned souls in the material world. And the ever liberated souls in the Vaikuntha planets never care to visit this miserable material world. The impersonalists who aspire to merge in the impersonal Brahmajyoti, effulgence of the Supreme Lord, have no conception of loving devotional service to him in his personal form, in the spiritual manifestation, may be compared to certain species of fish who, being born in the rivers and rivulets, migrate to the great ocean. They cannot stay in the ocean indefinitely, for their urge for sense gratification brings them back to the rivers and streams to spawn. Similarly, when the materialist becomes frustrated in his attempts to enjoy himself in the limited material world, he may seek impersonal liberation by merging either with the causal ocean or with the impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence. However, as neither the causal ocean nor the impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence affords any superior substitute for association and engagement of the senses, the impersonalist will fall again into the limited material world to become entangled once more in the wheel of births and deaths, drawn on by the inextinguishable desire for sensual engagement. But any devotee who enters the kingdom of God by transcendental engagement of his senses in devotional service, and who associates with the liberated souls and the personality of Godhead there, will never be attracted to the limited surroundings of the material world. In the Bhagavad Gita 8.15, also the same is confirmed, as the Lord says, quote, "The great Mahatmas, or the Bhakti Yogis, after attaining my association, never come back to this material world, which is full of miseries and is non-permanent." End quote. The highest perfection of life, therefore, is to attain his association and nothing else. The Bhakti Yogi, being completely engaged in the Lord's service, has no attraction for any other process of liberation like jnana or yoga. The pure devotee is 100% devotee of the Lord and nothing more. We should further note in this verse the two words shantam and anandam, which denote the devotional service of the Lord can really bestow upon the devotee two important benedictions, namely peace and satisfaction. The impersonalist is desirous of becoming one with the Supreme, or in other words, he wants to become the Supreme. This is a myth only. The mystic yogis, being encumbered by various mystic powers, and so have neither peace nor satisfaction. So neither the impersonalist nor the yogi can have real peace and satisfaction, but the devotee can become fully peaceful and satisfied because of his association with the complete whole. Therefore, merging in the absolute or attaining some mystic powers has no attraction for the devotee. Attainment of love of Godhead means complete freedom from all other attractions. The conditioned soul has many aspirations, such as becoming a religious man, a rich man, or a first-class enjoyer, or becoming God himself, or becoming powerful like the mystics and acting wonderfully by getting anything or doing anything. But all these aspirations should be rejected by the prospective devotee who actually wants to revive his dormant love of God. The impure devotee aspires after all of the above mentioned material things by perfection of devotion. But let me read that again. The impure devotee aspires after all of the above mentioned material things by perfection of devotion. But a pure devotee has none of the tinges of the above contaminations, which are the influence of material desires, impersonal speculations, and attainment of mystic powers. One can attain the stage of love of God by pure devotional service, or by, quote, a learned labor of love, end quote, for the sake of the devotee's lovable object, the personality of Godhead. To be more clear, if one wants to attain the stage of love of Godhead, he must give up all desires for material enjoyment. He should refrain from worshiping any of the demigods, and he should devote himself only to the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He must give up the foolish idea of becoming one with the Lord and the desire to have some wonderful powers just to get the ephemeral adoration of the world. The devotee is only favorably engaged in the service of the Lord without any hope of emolument. This will bring about love of Godhead, or the stage of Shantam and Anandam as stated in this verse. Hinat manat manam upaiti shantam anandam anandamayo vasane etam gatim bhagavatim gatoya savai punar neha rishaj jatenga. Translation: only the purified soul can attain the perfection of associating with the personality of Godhead in complete bliss and satisfaction in his constitutional state. Whoever is able to renovate such devotional perfection is never again attracted by this material world, and he never returns. Wonderful. So, Prabhupada starts out. We'll kind of go through the points again. Repetition of a thing is important or required for understanding it properly. So, in the purport, Prabhupada discusses that we should take specific note of the word in the third line, Gatim Bhagavatim. The word Gati or Gata means attained. So we sing this in the prayers to Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja. This is also mentioned in different places in the Bhagavad Gita as like a destination. Param Gatim, which means, or Param Gati, that this is the spiritual world is that supreme attainable object or that supreme attainable place. So Gatim Bhagavatim, Prabhupada mentions, this is not what is merging into the Brahmajyoti effulgence of the Lord is not what's mentioned here. Actually, the impersonalist commentators, sometimes it seems like we're the Bhagavata school or the devotees of Krishna are a little bit critical of the impersonalists. And when we first hear these types of very blunt comments about the impersonalists being incorrect in their conclusion or commentaries of the scriptures, sometimes we are become a little bit agitated by that, because maybe we may also have a little bit of that sympathy for that philosophy that, well, it's okay to think that God isn't a person, a little bit somewhere deep down. So it may become, we may feel that that the Bhagavata school is overcritical, but if my loved one is here and somebody is saying he doesn't exist and he completely ignores him and he even also is rude to that person, offensive to that person, which is so dear to me, and then we can see that little bit of anger may develop naturally in the in the lover for the beloved, or towards the person who is offending the beloved, right? So such anger is natural, and we are meant to direct the natural anger which is present in the soul towards persons who decry, who defame and diminish or try to erase the position of the supreme lovable object, Krishna. And that is the healthy use of such anger. So, of course, in these purports, Prabhupada speaks very scholarly. It's not surcharged with some, extra kind of fire. It's presented. We know Prabhupada has that fire for persons who decry the Supreme Lord, but it's presented in a scholarly way. And in that way, any intelligent person who considers this text, they should at least consider that This is a very holistic version. This is not without logic and reason. Anyway, so continuing, we need to understand that the devotees never aspire after merging into the Supreme Lord. It's stated in chapter, I think it is chapter 14, text 27, Brahmano hi pratishtaham, that Krishna is saying that I am the seat, or I am the resting place. I am the source of the impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence. Those are 3 words. We can repeat that. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Right? So that's what Krishna says. He's the basis of the impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence. So the light from the Lord's body is emanating from a person, just like the sun rays are emanating from the sun globe, which is actually powered by the sun god. Okay, so the devotees, they don't want to merge into that. They want to enter into the Vaikuntha planets, back to Godhead, back to home, back to Godhead. In one sense, the devotees are completely satisfied with having the atmosphere of the spiritual world, or attaining the atmosphere of the spiritual world, which means they're chanting offenselessly. If somebody chants offenselessly, he is in the spiritual world. And if somebody is rendering devotional service, then the atmosphere of pure devotional service, which is created by the pure devotee, that creates the spiritual world. Or that place is the spiritual world. And the pure devotees, they traverse this earth. They are like a walking holy place. Holy places are significant because they are the places which the Lord has imported from the spiritual world, or had his transcendental pastimes at those spots. Therefore, they cannot be material. So such places are worshipable by the devotees and by all persons, and people can become relieved of all sinful reaction just by going to that place. Much less if they go there and they take the association of the devotees there, just like we're hearing in the Lilamrita, right? You're supposed to go to Kumbh Mela or Magh Mela. That's very nice. But if you want to go there to associate with the devotees, of course, there are many different groups there. So one can become very confused if he's not guided by strict followers of the Parampara system. So we have to, actually in this, we should understand that this is the case for all the holy places. We should go with guides and associates who are trained in the mood and the method that our local transcendental authorities have developed and propagated, because we can become very confused very easily. And actually, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he advised his associates to be very strict with their association in the holy places, because they may not understand properly the mood of the residents of the holy places. So those are some points on that. But the pure devotee, he brings the holy places everywhere he walks, right? And if we renovate our devotional service, if we revive that devotional service, which is our birthright, then we also can be like a walking holy place. And we can bestow the Lord's wonderful mercy upon others by having received that benediction ourselves, by following very nicely in the Parampara system. And we should want to bestow the Lord's mercy upon everyone. So we should pray to become instruments for the previous acharyas, purely instrumental for the previous acharyas. Now, Prabhupada was mentioning, we want to go back to Godhead. In that spiritual sky, there's so many planets. You can check out the blue book, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, and you'll see there's unlimited spiritual planets there. That's called the Pravyoma. That's the spiritual sky. And when you go there, you never have to come back. So actually, this is stated in the Bhagavad Gita many times, and we should take it with faith. Yes, I am here now, but if I actually follow this process as Krishna's directing, I'll never come back. Because that's the version of the Shastra. And so one can say, why did I come? Can I come again? Well, it says he never returns. So we have to be a little simple. We can spend a lot of time not engaging in devotional service because we have some reservation about the perfectional state, right? We think maybe it's not completely perfect. What about my sense gratification? I really like XYZ in this material world. Is it going to be better? Is it going to be better than that? Because I won't do this whole thing unless it's going to be better. Or we say, well, maybe I'll have to come back again. So what's the point? I hate being inefficient. I'm all about efficiency, right? What's in it for me, right? If I don't have to work so hard and I have to come back again, then why do it, right? So we have some doubts about this, the goal. Therefore, it's important that we understand the prime benediction of this pure devotional platform. When we hear the pastimes of the pure devotees and we see how sweetly they're engaging with Lord Krishna, right? Those transcendental pastimes renovate our heart and enliven us and show us there's nothing better than a relationship like that. And everybody can have it with Krishna. He's that type of person. Nobody here can love us like Krishna. One time before I became a devotee, I don't know what happened, but I watched some video and there was a preacher. I think he was a Christian preacher. And he was saying, we're expecting some love from our relationship, but nobody can love you like you need to be loved. Your need for love is voracious. Nobody can love you like you need, except for the Lord. He's the one that will love you like that, like we really need. So when it comes down to putting aside all the rest of the things, merging into the Lord, becoming God in myself, I'll become God. I'll get all these mystic powers and I'll do whatever the heck I want to do. I'll be the controller. I'll do it all, right? It'll be my fairy tale. All these things, they become completely shadowed by that love that we're hankering for, because we tried it all before. We went up and down. Ramanya Brahmite. But Bhagyavan Konajiv, I think it is, that somebody who's fortunate gets the seed of devotional service after going up and down the universe, all over the place, right? So we already did it. We went to the higher planets. We were also mystic yogis. We were really abominable, different creatures trying to enjoy in weird ways. We had a lot of families. We had a lot of partners. We had a lot of children, right? We had a lot of different adventures on this level. But since time immemorial, we have not properly consciously engaged in the loving adventures which are unlimitedly infinite with Lord Sri Krishna. And he is so kind. He's ready to associate with us exactly how we want. So we become purified in our desire just to serve the Lord, to associate with him and his pure devotees, become servant of the 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 servant of Krishna. Again and again and again, to chant the holy names purely without offense. Right? By following this process, if we shun or we say, we see the desires in the heart, we say, that desire is a sham. That's bogus desire. When will Lord Nityananda be merciful upon me? Right? Oh, hey, Vaishnav Thakur. Right? Please, Guru Parampara, please destroy my lust. Please help me. Right? We see these desires, but we, as sadhakas, as practitioners, we have to know that's not the goal. I already did it. That's not the goal. And though we may be gripped by these things, this process works. So we have to take hold of the process, and we have to pray that our faith can become firm and our devotion stronger and stronger. These are the prayers of Kulaveshwar Sridhar and also Prahlad Maharaj. They just pray to become stronger in devotional service. They just pray for unflinching faith and devotion unto the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. So these are some points. And when we get those things, we'll be fully peaceful. When we actually get real devotion, we'll be fully peaceful. There'll be nothing that can disturb us, because devotional service is a haituki apratiyata. And it gives full satisfaction of the self. So thank you so much, devotees. Please forgive me for going a little over time and not leaving time for questions. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees.